people have got to know that justice is the goal here and that justice has to be done. And justice is in a form of relocation, of reciprocation, and making sure that the health and the safety of these residents, be they young or old, are protected.
Well, to fix it, for them to make it out of the industrial area and move everybody out, which they could have been did.
Well, one of the things that I think is very critical, if we're going to relocate them, we got to have a plan. We have to have a plan of relocation, a site, if you will, some land that's designated somewhere that's available to assist the number of houses that's going to be relocated. We know that a lot of the property in Hyde Park may not be utilized or lived in. Some of it is vacant property. But to house the number of people that's actually living in Hyde Park, I think that we can find a segment of property that we can concentrate on rebuilding and relocating that community in that area. I would be willing to do that. I think that I wouldn't have a problem selling it to the community. I think that I wouldn't have a problem selling it to the commission, as well as the state delegation and the federal delegation. I think that that's something that we need to look at. I don't want to take the integrity away from the community. I want to keep them together if possible, and make sure that the people can continue the legacy that they have and their parents had and grandparents had in that community in a different location. I always hear people say home is where the heart is, and I truly believe that if they take that with them in their heart, that they can continue to have the same life and legacy in a different location.
Okay, my name is Gary Willingham, and I've been commissioned to work with the Hyde Park community in devising a plan for how they can relocate. Over the years that I've worked with the community in the past, we worked on health issues and health concerns and identifying the various toxins in the community that the people were exposed to. And in the process of doing so with the health department and Dr. Rump, we identified a number of toxins that were found in the tissues of people. And the consensus at that time by the health district director and public health was that the residents needed to be moved. It was less likely to remove the contaminants than it would be to remove the residents. And so at that time, the attention shifted from continuing with the health investigation with devising a plan to relocate the residents, is to get everyone together and identify property values, identify areas of desired relocation to determine where do they want to go collectively as a community, and then to come up with house plans to look at comparable sizes of homes. If you have a 1,500 square feet home, you don't want to get a 1,000 square feet home in replacement. So we have a lot of variables that are going to be assessed in this process. And then making sure that in this plan, there's a concept for community. Not just to build some houses to warehouse people, but to rebuild a community where there's commerce in the community, where there's schools there, where there's available transportation, everybody having a decent, affordable, sanitary home environment is the plan. At that point, then it becomes a mission to raise the money to carry out this plan.
If we could identify the money, if we could focus on the physical injuries as opposed to the ground contamination, and just recognize that there are people there who are suffering by virtue of the chemicals that are in their body, that they've ingested into their bodies in some way or another, and that we need to do something to provide some relief for those folks, then that may be the solution to the problem, as opposed to continuing to fight a fight that we have fought for at least the last 12 to 15 years over whether or not there is sufficient ground level contamination, and then who's responsible for that ground level contamination.
With the economy the way it is now, and over $780 billion paid to bail out the economy of the United States of America, America's in a very serious crisis when it comes with the economic situation they're going through. If we can spend that kind of money for a bailout, surely we can spend some money for the lives of American citizens who have been caught in a situation that they have problems getting out of.
I would like to say to anybody who can help us to move from out here. I don't live out here, but anybody can help us to get out of this property. Please do so. It is contamination out here. People are sick and people are dying.
What I see for Hyde Park in the future is not, we can never make Hyde Park whole, but what we can do is make it possible for those taxpayers, our fellow taxpayers and citizens who resided out in Hyde Park for all these years, who started the Hyde Park area, and maybe get our community back to what it was intended to be, which was a perfectly nice subdivision where children can play, where elderly people can sit on their front porch and converse with their neighbors, where young men and women can come and lead their lives at the end of the day and not be concerned about lead contamination or toxic lesions or who has died early or prematurely.
I don't think it's going to be a difficult task once the powers that be, whether it be through foundations who have resources that they can pledge that have a mandate to address such issues, and there are numerous foundations, and whether it be state agencies or federal agencies, they have to see a plan that they can support and buy into as a mandate for their organization, or it fits within the scope of their own goals and objectives as an organization or a department.
The problem in Hyde Park is a problem that's across the nation, and I think if you do the right thing by Hyde Park, you will help other communities like Hyde Park through the United States of America.
It got to be somebody out there somewhere that can help the citizen of Hyde Park, who also are taxpayer citizen. We pay our taxes on time. We obey and respect the law, just like any other citizen. So it got to be somebody out there with a good heart that can actually help this community. And as far as those who can help and won't help, shame on you. Shame on you.
As president of the Hyde Park and Argan Park Committee, we cannot do this by ourselves. I would need the help of everyone. I need your help. I need everyone's help that can get involved in helping the people and the residents of Hyde Park and any surrounding area in this area get relocated or get some type of help to better the lives of those who stay out in the Hyde Park area.
All owners and tell them what you heard about today. Tell them what the vision is, what's going on. Okay.
Material is hidden, but the effects are not hidden. That's right. Therefore, something needs to be done.
So if ain't nobody paying the taxes on the land, why can't it be our land rather than nobody paying taxes on the land in this